Now, the Conservative Party have asked HMRC to investigate whether Nigel Farage should have paid tax on the £5 million gift that he received from the crypto billionaire Christopher Harborne. This is after reports earlier this month that Nigel Farage informed Senior Reform UK figures that he would require compensation of £1 million a year to offset his loss of earnings if he were to run for office. It has been denied by Nigel Farage and his party. Mike Lewis is here, the director of TaxWatch. Hello to you, Mike.
Hello.
Hi. So, look, the Tories then are saying there should be an HMRC investigation into whether the £5 million gift to Nigel Farage should be taxed as a disguised remuneration. This is after the reporting, of course. He told people he needed £1 million a year if he returned to politics. He denies that, of course. It is a serious matter, this, Mike, isn't it?
It is a serious matter, and it highlights a number of real kind of inconsistencies and grey areas in our tax system. Obviously, it's possible that HMRC may be investigating the gifts, and so because the tax position is complicated, we're unlikely as external observers to be able to say definitively whether this gift should have been taxed or not. But if it is taxed, it's possible that both the tax, the pay as you earn and the national insurance contributions could be up to £3 million, and it's possible also that the company behind reform itself could be liable for the tax, and that would be, obviously quite a serious thing for their political finances.
But it is obviously open to HMRC to investigate the background to this gift to Nigel Farage, why it was given, why it was taken, and weigh up evidence on either side.
That's right. And, the key question that HMRC will be thinking about is, was this actually income provided, as part of an arrangement for Mr. Farage to become leader of the Reform Party? And obviously Mr. Farage denies that today. But if so, HMRC could try to say that essentially it's not a gift, it's income, it's subject to income tax and national insurance. Alternatively, they could be arguing that the payment was some kind of inducement to do something like run for office. Obviously, Mr. Farage denies that too. Yeah. But if so, it could potentially be taxable as some kind of miscellaneous income, depending on the circumstances. And then finally, there's a question about how the tax is, affects the tax bill of the person who provides the money. So if the source of the money is a UK resident person, who provided the payments, they could be liable for inheritance tax, even if the payment is a true gift in certain circumstances. It doesn't appear that Mr. Harborne was UK domiciled or UK resident, but HMRC will certainly be interested in whether the money definitely originated with Mr. Harborne.
But so far we have Nigel Farage's denials, his insistence that the £5 million gift was nothing more than a gift, nothing to do with any political ambition. He says he had no political ambition when the gift was given, and denying the Guardian account that he was talking about the need for money if he went back to politics. Now, given all of that, where does HMRC go?
Well, it definitely highlights the fact that there's a kind of massive asymmetry at the heart of UK tax law. So working people pay tax on income and gains of many, many kinds, right, in relation to employment, assets they own, like houses they might sell, professional activities. That's our normal experience of the tax system. And yet, someone who just receives a huge sum of money as a gift, for instance, from a wealthy relative or a friend, can usually, in most cases in the tax system, enjoy that windfall kind of totally tax-free. And if the person who gives the gift lives for another 7 years, they don't pay inheritance tax either. And that's obviously a huge incentive for all kinds of income to be recharacterized as a tax-free gift. That's not what we're saying necessarily happened here, but that is an incentive in our tax system. And more generally, it means that it encourages wealth to be kind of passed tax-free, amongst wealthy people or within wealthy families. And the UK is a bit of an outlier here, right? So in some other countries, gifts are only tax-free if they come from direct relatives. That's the case in Switzerland, for example. In many other countries, the tax-free amount you can receive as a gift is capped, as in Germany, for example. So the UK is a bit of an outlier, and as anxieties grow about inequality and the effects of extreme wealth in our society and also in our political system, tax-free gifts might be something that the current or future governments might want to consider adjusting rules around.
But as it sits, I mean, the reporting that Nigel Farage was saying he needed £1 million a year if he was to go back into politics, and then very shortly afterwards he was given £5 million. That is denied, as we've said now a number of times. What can HMRC do but accept Nigel Farage's word on all of that? The Guardian's reporting is contrary to that, but their sources are not named. Any sort of evidence is unattributable to any particular person. It looks like a brick wall to HMRC, does it not? Or is there any way for them to go further?
Well, I mean, as you say, the way that any investigation proceeded would be up to HMRC. They do have powers in certain circumstances to compel information and documents, both from taxpayers and from intermediaries like accountants and tax agents of various kinds. So they do have investigative powers, and they will be looking very seriously at, for example, written and oral documentation around, the purpose of the gift. There are also instances in which providing a document, for example, that says that the gift is unconditional and irrevocable can itself, in a kind of sort of bear trap way, can itself generate a tax liability. It can be considered as a taxable gain. So capital received on an asset that's kind of created in law by this gift. But it's a very complicated area of tax law. And I think the takeaway for us is that, as you say, there is a huge latitude to give tax-free gifts in UK tax law. The UK is a bit of an outlier in that respect, and it does, I think, make it difficult for HMRC to really get under the skin of these kinds of situations if indeed everybody involved is absolutely clear that it was a completely unconditional true gift from one person to another.
Mike Lewis, Director of TaxWatch, thank you.